Alright, stoked. The stainless lads are here. It's been a long time coming, a couple of back and forths, a little bit of a whoopsie here and there. Really, sometimes you just have to get what you're given, and it's not exactly how I wanted it. With the stainless man starting work on the davits and my little elaborate plan back here in the next coming days, I've just got to prepare for him. So I'll take off these panels here. These panels are so old, man. They're like 80 watts each. They were original on Nanji when we bought it, and they were old for that time. So they're pretty much worthless. They do give us a little bit of charge, you know. I can't say they're totally worthless, but I know 240 watts on the back there, where that same amount of area, we could upgrade that to like over 300, 400 watts. So that's what we plan to do. So I'm going to take off these, and the support braces, they're just all that, it was built to be able to be removed sort of deal. So I want to reinforce the whole lot. And there's just like clamps and brackets that are holding areas together. And the support bars that run like across each other, they're just like these little clamps on. So they're not really holding it all together in one big solid structure, which is what I want. So I'm going to rip all that shit off. There's a lot of ripping shit off recently. The back's looking very naked, but once again, it's going to be so sick when it's finished. So I'll rip all that off, and hopefully old mate can start work in the next coming couple of days. And good riddance. No more power.
The stainless steel guy's coming tomorrow, so we're putting the rest of the hydrovane back together so he can raise the davits and make sure it fits well with how the hydrovane needs to work. So that's getting it ready for him tomorrow.
Just stripping everything back off, ready for when the welder comes. So this here was the old pole that used to hang on to our old wind generator, but we're going to upgrade so it's much thicker. So we're going to put like a 2-inch tube there instead of this like 1.5. So we're just going to upgrade that, make it more solid. So I've just been taking this off of the deck, and how it's like, it's just all kind of clamped together, all this davits sort of stuff. It's like it was just continually added onto. But so we're going to get rid of this sort of clampy stuff and make sure everything's all welded, so then we can join, it's basically going to join this whole back pulpit into like one big solid unit then. And so all where the stanchions are going through should help take the load of what's going on the davits, as well as the wind generator here. So that's the big plan behind it. So just got to rip this off. I've got a bit of extra time because it was raining all day yesterday and the welder's delayed. Must have had a job extend from yesterday, but it's kind of good because it gives me a bit more time to think about how everything's going to attach. I don't know what size of the base that old mate's come up with, so I'm just going to take all this off and backfill all these holes with epoxy, and even put some glass up underneath, because the deck underneath isn't actually glass, it's just glassed on top. And so I might glass all of those bits in together just to make it extra strong, and then we can just figure out when it comes and where it's going to go, and then I can make up backing plates for underneath then. But first I think we just got to fill in everything here, and then we got a better understanding of what's going on. Make a good platform to then build up. That's the plan. Whoever put it on however many years ago, they did a pretty good job. It's all like well sickered, and hasn't been any water ingressing through there, which is really good. There's a good base of Sika there, but I've since painted on top of the deck there. That's why there's a bit of build up around the edge. So I'll have to buff all this back with the old sander. And it's pretty dewy this morning, so everything's quite a bit moist. So once the sun comes out, it should dry it out a bit. So the stainless lads are here this morning. We're just having a few little mishaps. I think we had a bit of miscommunication originally in the design. I thought they were building it all here on site, but they've rocked up with a half constructed thing, so I've had to make a few adjustments with that. It's probably my fault more than anything, me just being fussy, and it'll probably end up costing me more money, but at least it's going to be done right the first time, and that's all I can hope for. A few little mods that are just agreeing with them with, just to make things easier, and I don't know, hopefully all this goes well. It's a bit of a testy thing because I don't have the panel in my hands, so I'm making it up off of the dimensions, and trying to explain that is a little bit hard because the man speaks Chinese and Malay and not a lot of English, and I speak English and a little bit of Malay, and so we're just kind of confusing each other and drawings, and I think we have a good idea and a good understanding now. But so we're putting on the outboard hoist now, and this will be the wind generator pole when we finally get a wind generator, and hopefully I've made this high enough. Once again, time will tell when one day we get a wind generator. The lads have got a pretty good design. It'll definitely be strong enough to hold the outboard, which is the most important thing. Alright, stoked. The stainless lads are here. It's been a long time coming, a couple of back and forths, a little bit of a whoopsie here and there, but it looks like we've got everything pretty sweet this time around. Sick, let's get it on. So we have a bit of a test fit with the frame up on top here, but because of like the Hydrovane, things are really close. Like what I've designed here, it is a bit millimetre perfect, and it's probably pissed the boys off a little bit because I make them redo things a couple of times, but it is millimetre perfect, and I'm the one that's going to have to deal with it because we steer 100%, well 95% of the time when we're sailing, we steer with old Rob Dog, the Hydrovane here, so we want to make sure that he has still full capacity. It's not going to get interfered with the frame that we're putting on in this new Solar. So, you know, like, and the way the Hydrovane works is that when the winds get super strong, because the wind is going onto the side of this, and that's what flops it to and fro, but when the wind gets really strong, you want to reduce the surface area that's going to the wind, so you kind of can drop back this angle, and with this angle dropping right back, then that's what's interfering, and that's going to hit the frame of the Hydrovane, which is what's going on now. So I just made them cut off like 120 mil, 125 mil, so we'll make that go, put the frame down a little bit lower, so then the Hydrovane will still be able to operate fully back, you know, so we're not losing any functions of our self-steering, which is super important because, like I said, Rob Dog's everything when we're sailing. The height that's coming up off the solar panels is totally just for me to fit my surfboards under. So obviously I want to have a maximum capacity so I can fit more surfboards, but I'm going to sacrifice surfboard space for steering the boat. Can't believe I said that. I'm actually sacrificing surfboard space. You heard it here first. So all the stainless on the back here is complete. The boys did a good job in the fact of their welding and their skills in welding, and that's basically it because it's not exactly how I wanted it. There's a few design issues which I think turned into a bit of miscommunication, like the outboard crane here, I just accepted it, but that's what it's going to look like, even though I asked for it to be the same as what the davits are. But you know, they come back with this already made, and rather than trying to get them to change that and have to order more materials and have an argument about who's going to pay for that, I just said yes, that's fine, I've accepted that. And then the other thing is, it is all good, and like this is what I wanted, like somewhere to put the new solar panels on the back, so in that regards of its functionality is perfect, but in the way it looks, in the fact of like where these legs raise up off of the old davits, they're meant to be on an angle to match the previous davits frame, so it's comfortable on the eye and everything flows and looks good. But if we look at it side on, the angle of the frame that they've put on is not the same as the davits. Now it is only something on the eyeball, and it'll probably just piss me off when I have a look at it, but for functionality everything is fine. It's just that it's not exactly how I wanted, and it costs quite a lot of money to get stainless work completed. But
after so many changes and chopping and mistakes made, and I think I'm just basically putting it all down to miscommunication. And they were a bit gun-ho. They didn't look at my plans and my drawings well enough, and they've just gone and made something, and so I ended up having to pay more money for more materials due to something that they made, even though it was different to my plan. So it was basically just a big shit fight. So rather than get them to change this again, which would have been the 4th time they would have had to change it, I just accepted the fact that it's going to look a little bit off, and that's just what I've had to deal with. So at the end of the day, it does what it needs to do, and so that's the main thing. It just doesn't look how I wanted it to look. Yeah, you get that with the big jobs. You have to remember that we are in a different country that speak different languages, so really sometimes you just have to get what you're given, and that's what I'm going to do. Just get what I'm given.
Yes, my president. Let's get into it. Okay.
Out, Marley! Out! Out!
Well, that arrived super fast, which is sick. I just need to figure out how exactly it's going to go on, because the panel wasn't here when the boys made it, so there's going to have to be a few little mods to the panel or the frame. And this panel was a different one because the guy didn't have stock in any more of the 340 watt, which is what we asked for, but he had stock of a 375. So he sent us 375 instead, and it looks like the brackets are a little bit higher. Got it all positioned on pretty good. I'll be able to go along this bolt along this front edge and on the sides, but the back edge, it's not quite long enough. I don't know whether, I haven't actually measured the panel, but the other panel was meant to be 1 meter, but because we got upgraded in panels, he said it was similar dimensions, but similar is not the same as same dimensions. So I'll just have to measure it, because it's either that or the welders don't know how to measure a meter. One thing I can't seem to find is 316 nylon lock nuts. I can find 316 bolts. Sometimes you need to order them in, but I just can't find 316 nylon lock nuts. Like, no one stocks them, and I can't even order them in. And I just want to keep moving on. So I've got some Loctite that I'll just chuck on every bolt. I've got 2 on this edge. Probably put 3 on each edge and a couple through here. Come to help, mate. Hand us that screwdriver. Oh, you whip it. Screwdriver. Dude, screwdriver. Dude. On your bed, mate. You're hopeless. Blunt. Oh. Oh. Fuck. Hopefully that means that just that one little cell's no good. Oh, what have you done, mate? Sure it won't affect it. Surely it won't be that one cell that's potentially hurt. Imagine drilling through that cell and it ruins the whole panel. I don't want to think about that. So instead of being a 375 watt panel now, it's a 370. Oh, we got the old 370 panel, you know. That's a 375. Nah, mate, 370. 370 all the way. Oh, that's a nice big 375 you got there, mate. Nah, mate, 370. Just the 370 today. Just the 370 here, buddy. Nothing else. Nothing to see here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts in it. If I put more in here, I just don't want to, because my surfboards are going to go through there. But we want it to stay on there. Yeah, I'll put another one in either side here, and maybe one in the middle along this front edge. That should be heaps. It's not going anywhere. Oh. So back in the lazarette, it's everything's starting to be finalised in here. It's all painted up. Got the shelves back in. I've loomed up all the cables. I just have to tie these up here. So that's the new solar panels that are connected. I've run the cables all the way through the bulkhead divider here into the bedroom. So everything's in the aft cabin now. So I can start packing shit up, tidying stuff up a bit, put the ropes back in here. I've got the ropes hanging up outside at the moment just because it's been raining most afternoon. So I just want to get them fully super dry, have a nice sunny day before I chuck them in here. Yeah, but things are starting to finish up here and Nancy's starting to look tidy again, which is good.